So, I know I've been gone for a while, and the reason I've been gone for so long is because my external storage failed, and I lost literally all of my games. A gamer's worst nightmare. It pretty much put me down to the dumps for a hot minute, but while I was looking for games to reinstall, I came across something that I don't remember buying at all. Halo Spartan Assault. Now, at first, I didn't even recognize this game. I've completed nearly every Halo game's campaign, and I even know about the Halo Chronicles and that cancelled Megabox game, yet this game was an anomaly to me. So, like I always do, I did some background work, and turns out this was 343's second Halo title after Halo 4, and it was made with the help of Vanguard Games. And to my knowledge, it was originally meant to be for Windows phones and iOS. This was supposed to be Halo's first mobile game. I decided to download it and play through the entire campaign, which apparently I got halfway through a long time ago, and to be completely honest with you, I was actually having a lot of fun with this. I don't know if it's just the state of Halo and gaming as a whole right now, or if this game is just that fun, but I ended up enjoying this much more than I thought I would. So I'm going to relay my experience to all of you mission by mission and talk about my likes and dislikes along the way. So sit back, relax, and get ready because we have 30 missions to go. But first we gotta explain what's exactly happening. I honestly don't know how to explain what's going on, because technically you're a Spartan 4 cadet listening to Roland give you a lecture about the battle that you play through in-game, which takes place between Halo 3 and 4, and are technically simulations that you're taking, so I'm just gonna ignore the cadet stuff altogether and treat it like this is actually taking place as we play, because the cadet stuff never pops up at all until the end of the campaign. Like, it's never mentioned till the end. It's only relevant in co-op, but that's a whole other thing I can't talk about because I haven't played it yet. But all it really does is explain why Roland narrates the cutscenes and why the shop exists, which is going to be really fucking helpful for a few missions. Speaking of missions, missions are separated into 6 operations. A being a walk of the park, while you need a plug for F because you are going to get railed. You can even get stars and currency you can use in the shop on these missions depending on how well you did. But I'm getting way too far off track, so let's start the run. So, Roland explains to us in the cutscene that a splinter faction of the Covenant tried to invade a planet called Dratheus 5, which goes against the peace treaty. Minor nitpick here, but Roland here says that it was in 2552 when the treaty was signed. But according to the wiki, the Human Covenant War ended in 2553 at the end of Halo 3. How the fuck did these guys violate a treaty when it wasn't even signed yet? Are you rampant, my guy? But anyways, they decided to touch down on the planet's moon first, but unluckily for them, 2 Spartans are already there. Spartan Davis and Spartan Palmer.
I thought you'd be taller.
Oh, nigga, don't hate me because I'm beautiful, nigga.
The first mission, Assault on CF-32, is a basic tutorial mission where I play as Spartan Davis, but if there's anything I really have to say, the backdrops of this game are beautiful, considering that this was supposed to be a mobile game in 2013. The battles that are going on in the background look really good, along with the game and its mechanics, but I really wish the melee button wasn't the right bumper and was B instead. And unluckily for me, you cannot change your controls at all, so I'm stuck with this scheme for the entire game. In the second mission, I switch over to Palmer and I'm sent to destroy 3 turrets with a couple Marines, which I do before I exfil. And this is where I learned that this game has a bunch of Spartan abilities, which are very fun to use, especially the speed boost. I switch back to Davis for the third mission, and I need to escort 2 Wolverines to the end of the mission. It's not that bad, but the drivers blow a gasket every time they get a scratch on their vehicle, and it gets pretty annoying as I played. I play as Palmer again for mission 4, but hey, at least I get a Wraith for this. I have to destroy 3 other Wraiths on my path, which I do very quickly before getting out and walking to a cave, ending the mission. I'm still playing as Palmer for the 5th mission, and you have to hold out with a group of Marines in the shotgun until exfil arrives. I died twice, and it's not because the mission is hard, it's just because I was being an idiot. I tried to hijack a Wraith twice, and it ran me over twice. So I played the mission like I was supposed to, and we eventually evacuated. This is also the first time we see Grunt Ultras, which in this game are just grunts with white armor. Operation Umbra wasn't that bad, especially for a tutorial operation, but now it's time to get on to Operation Tempered Shield. After leaving the moon, Palmer is sent down to the actual planet to help defend it, which kicks off the first mission of Tempered Shield, the Siege of Faraday, where I sit there on a turret for 5 minutes and mow down everything that doesn't look remotely human. I'm having fun. I spent 2 days of my life getting this footage. The next mission I have to defend 2 groups of Wolverines, but this time they are stationary and in 2 different spots. I'm also introduced to the dual-wielded SMGs, which I love, and I end the mission with relatively no issues. Now, we get to the first mission that I actively don't like, B3. I fucking hate this level. I need to deal with 6 Covenant officers that I have to actively look for, but I also have to deal with these fuckers, who have bullet sponge shields you have to break through before you can actually damage them, and needle rifles with tracking stronger than Halo 4's needle rifles. It made this mission an absolute slog to get through, and if I died, I had to start all over again. Not to mention how much of a tension killer this was. I'm fighting on battlefield after battlefield, stuff's exploding, there's Marines everywhere fighting off the hordes of enemies alongside me, and then in the middle of it, Palmer fucks off to go kill 6 officers in the middle of nowhere. I killed the officers, and I tried to forget that mission ever happened. Mission 4 isn't too bad. I fight my way through a bridge using a Wraith, destroy 2 artillery turrets on foot, and then meet up with a team of tanks. Now, I honestly think that Mission 5 is going to be alright. It's probably just going to be another defense-type mission with a couple of objectives or something, and, is that a Scorpion? The battle at Red Slate kicks ass. They give you a tank and they say go. You need to destroy 7 Wraiths and they put a bunch of enemies between you and them. And I already knew exactly what to do. When the final Wraith goes down, the mission ends, signaling the start of the next operation. Now, I was originally going to say that this operation was pretty bad, and then the Scorpion section happened that pretty much saved this entire operation. So I'm going to say that this operation was pretty good, all thanks to Red Slate and B2, because B2 was actually kind of good as well. Turns out the moon that Davis is standing on is actually the Foreigner equivalent of a goddamn Death Star, and the Covenant somehow found a way to turn it on and fire it at the planet. So yeah, we kinda need to haul ass and stop the laser from carving the planet's core out. So I switch back to Davis, and in the first mission we clear out a landing zone for some ODSTs, and by the time we kill the last enemy, the ODSTs hit the ground, which actually kinda surprised me the first time I saw it in game. I honestly didn't think that the animators would go out and animate that, but they did. So according to the lore sheet attached to the second mission, apparently after the ODSTs came down, a bunch of Spirit dropships crashed on top of them. What the fuck, I just cleaned this place. I need to defend myself and my group from a wave of Covenant where drones decide to show up, which I was not expecting to see. I go save some engineers, and then I fend off another wave of Covenant before the mission ends. In Mission 3, I have to destroy convoys of Wraiths. It really isn't anything to write home about, I just blow up the Wraiths and leave. I have to escort 3 snipers to different positions on the mountain and... oh shit, they're spec obsoletes. And they have active camo. And they have swords. I somehow managed to get through the mission, even with the shitty loadout it gives me. Now, I was actively excited for Superstructure Standoff because of what the Battle of Red Slates gave me, but it was just a defense mission with 2 stages. Yes, a Brute Chieftain showed up, but I immediately shot his ass the second he got close to me, and no other Brute showed up for the rest of the mission. It was kind of a disappointment, and that's all I could really say about it, but we did manage to turn off the Death Star. All in all, Operation Monolith is pretty mid. Yes, there's some pretty cool stuff that happens in it, but besides that, most of the missions are kind of just there. Good work, team. We managed to shut down the Death Star, and now I can go home. Anyways, did anybody hear anything from Palmer?
No. We're completely fucked. We're completely fucked.
Even though Spartan Davis managed to turn off the super weapon, the part of the planet that Palmer is on is, yeah, it's starting to eat itself, so we need to get the hell out of Dodge as quickly as possible, leading us nicely into the first mission, where it gives me dual-wielded SMGs, which gave me very high hopes for this mission. This mission was fucking boring. All I really did was break down a couple of doors, but hey, at least Jetpack Brutes and Brute Shot showed up. I grab a jetpack from the armory, and I get to higher ground. In the second mission, I saved 3 groups of Marines before eventually escorting the last one to an evac ship. I did manage to hijack a ghost, so I did get some fun out of this mission. Mission 3 is where things pick back up again. The gods at 343 and Vanguard Games blessed me with a Grizzly tank. If you don't know what a Grizzly tank is, it's just a stronger and beefier Scorpion tank. I use this god-given tool to massacre everything in front of me before destroying 5 turrets on foot, ending the mission. Mission 4 is another escort mission, and all I have to say is this is probably one of the best escort missions in the game. I defend an elephant from the rear as it crosses the bridge, and once it reaches the other side, I have to defend it from the front. The mission ending as it passes through the mission barrier. It's really fun and it's actually kind of challenging to keep the suicide grunts away from the elephant. In the 5th mission, I defend a group of evacuees boarding spirits, only losing 3 people as I hold off waves of Covenant before the transports take off, the mission ending once they're in the sky. All I have to say is Operation Captured Chance is probably the best operation in the game. It's a mix of fun levels, and yes, it does start off slow in the front, but it quickly ramps up. It has 3 of my favorite missions in the game, so I give it a very high rating. In the cinematic, we learned that Spartan Davis died on the moon, and now the UNSC wants the leaders of the Covenant operations, Mergvul's head. And we're going to do exactly that. So we go back to the moon as Palmer to finish the job. But since Verg knows that we steal spirits, we have to find a phantom to steal instead. The first mission is pretty simple. I run around killing bad guys for a good few minutes before I eventually find a phantom, defend it for a few seconds, and the mission ends. The second mission, I have to defend this engineer guy who's repairing the phantom for 4 minutes, which I do without abandoning him by mistake or being killed by a spec ops lead. And we eventually get the hell out of there. The third mission, I just run around and kill everything near me in a wraith and complete the whole thing with no real issues. The next, I have to run around and kill Mergvul's lieutenants, and thankfully it isn't as bad as B3 because I get to run around in a ghost. I kill the lieutenants, and the mission ends. Holy shit, the final mission of E sucks. E5 is a boss mission, and good god, this was poorly made. So, first you have to fight off waves of incoming enemies until Mergvul himself comes out to fight. He isn't really that hard, but it's his second stage where the bullshit really starts. He creates holograms of himself, regains all of his shields, and now he has 2 energy swords. He also has an envoy of jackals backing him up. So while you're running away from this asshole, you also have to worry about the guys with the sponge shields and tracking bullets. Oh, and did I also mention that Mergvul can go invisible in this fight? So while you're dealing with the jackals, he could just pop up and fucking kill you in 2 hits, and you'd have to start the mission all over again. After dying over and over and over again, I just said fuck it, grabbed the rocket launcher from the shop, and blew his ass into the stratosphere. This mission was bullshit in an awful way to end a mid-at-best operation. We finally made it. The final operation. Roland congratulates us on completing the simulation, and that's when Palmer walks into the room and explains that wasn't the full story, which leads us into the first mission of the last operation. Apparently there was something still active on the moon, so we drop in as Palmer, destroy 2 turrets, and clean up the area before more reinforcements drop down. The mission endings once the ODSTs hit the floor. Mission 2, I'm giving a Grizzly again, and you already know the drill. I mow everything in my path down, I destroy a couple of turrets, and I end the mission. Mission 3 is another defense mission where I have to protect an engineer while he turns the light bridge on, and once it's on, there's a wraith on the other side, but luckily for me, the driver just up and left the vehicle when I ran away from him. But I was able to enter the cave after I killed him, ending the mission. In Mission 4, I had to destroy 3 energy balls. It isn't really that special, but if I have to say anything, there are spec ops elites everywhere in this mission, and it makes it really challenging. For the final mission, I have to destroy 3 energy balls before a Pelican arrives to pick up a Forerunner construct they found. Apparently, the Forerunner device turned Davis's corpse and armor into some artifact, and I gotta get it out of here before the Covenant figures out what to do with it. I managed to destroy the energy balls and fend off the hordes of Covenant coming after me, and I eventually escaped the cave on a Pelican that pulls us and the artifact out of there. And that's where the campaign ends. All in all, it was pretty alright. The game has a plethora of enemies, weapons, enemy types, and different vehicles. I was generally surprised by the amount of love and care put into this game, which is something you really don't see in many other games, especially AAA games. But there are times where it shows that this game was supposed to be a mobile game. But all in all, that's where I'm going to end it for today. I know this video is really different from what I usually put out, but I kind of wanted to try something new. Like always, hit the subscribe button if you enjoy content like this, share this around so I can grow as a channel, and I will see you guys next time.